Arriving with the Edge of Fate is what I would consider to be the biggest suite of buildcrafting reworks that we have ever gotten in Destiny 2, and thanks to Bungie flying me out to their HQ to get an early look at all of it, I get to tell you everything about it today. And if you want to see the rest of my early coverage of Edge of Fate, including the new exotic armors for each class, all of the new weapons, and an interview with game director Tyson Green, check out my Edge of Fate video playlist or stop by my channel after watching this video. In this one though, we will be talking about the 3 major build crafting changes arriving to Destiny 2 with the Edge of Fate in the gear tiering system, the armor set bonus system, and the complete stat rework. Starting with gear tiers, all legendary gear that you receive in Destiny 2 moving forward will drop as a tier 1 through tier 5 piece of gear, with higher tiers being equivalent to better gear and with more difficult activities dropping said higher tiers. Looking at armor first, gear tiers are actually rather straightforward, where the tier of your armor piece simply determines how many total stat points on that armor there will be, with a tier 1 piece of gear granting you 48 to 53 total stat points, tier 2 granting 53 to 58, tier 3 granting 59 to 64, and tier 4 granting 65 to 72. Now, in the screenshot that we got from the capture event, you'll notice that tier 5 armor actually has an additional benefit that doesn't exist on any of the other tiers, and that is the stat tuning mod slot. What this means is that tier 5 pieces of gear will drop with a specific highlighted stat, and you'll have access to a brand new mod slot on that piece of armor that will allow you to increase the stat points of that specific highlighted stat by decreasing a different stat on that piece of armor by the same amount, effectively allowing you to custom tune each piece of armor exactly to your liking. I also want to note that while the in-game screenshot notes that the total tier 5 stat pool is 73 to 75, higher than that of the total stat pool of tier 4 armor, we were told at the event that tier 4 armor is actually where the total stat point count will cap out, and tier 5 will only have the tuning slot as its exclusive benefit and will not drop with more total stat points than tier 4. Probably a good time to mention that the footage we captured is of an early build of the game, and all things are subsequently subject to change. Now, when it comes to gear tiers for legendary weapons, things get significantly spicier. A tier 1 weapon is your run-of-the-mill weapon that has attributes that you would find on 90% of your weapons today. Base perks, 2 options for mag and barrel, and 1 option for your 3rd and 4th traits. At tier 2 though, both of your 3rd and 4th traits will drop automatically enhanced. At tier 3, things get even better with a second row of also enhanced perks being available to choose from in your 3rd and 4th columns. At tier 4, all of your magazine and barrel perks will also come enhanced. And at tier 5, Bungie is pulling out all of the stops with a 3rd row of options for your column 3 and 4 perks, an enhanced origin trait, an enhanced mod socket, a beautiful ornament exclusive to tier 5 weapons, and a kill effect mod socket that ships with a tier 5 exclusive kill effect to make a pretty boom anytime you kill anything with the weapon. This is an incredibly exciting change because not only does it give you a ton of versatility with tons of perk options per individual weapon, but it also rewards you with extremely pretty gameplay for your investment so that you can show off when raiding with your friends and LFG. The next massive build crafting change that we have coming to Destiny 2 is set bonuses, where by simply equipping multiple pieces of armor from the same set, you'll get bonus benefits. All of the set bonuses that we got to play around with had 2 different set bonuses, one of which was awarded if you had 2 pieces of the armor set on, and another more powerful benefit that was awarded if you had 4 pieces of the set on. And what was really cool is that if you liked one of the 2-piece bonuses from one set, but a different one of the 2-piece bonuses from a different set, you could actually equip 2 pieces of armor from each set and have both of those 2-piece set bonus benefits active at the exact same time. Also, another quick shout out to Bungie for making the highest set bonus benefit at 4 pieces pieces and not 5, so that we can still run our exotic armor piece of choice along with the maximum set bonus benefit. Although, now that I'm thinking about it, it could be really cool for them down the line to experiment with 5 armor piece set bonuses that have exotic levels of power and benefits, given that you would obviously have to run legendary armor in all 5 slots to achieve said set bonus. I want to be explicitly clear, they didn't say or mention anything about that, but it's just a cool possibility that could be realized someday. You never know. Now, these set bonuses were not totally game-changing like an exotic armor piece would be, but they can definitely pack a punch and really enhance certain build crafting options and playstyles. For example, if you really like running rockets or grenade launchers and want to use a non-arc subclass that can't usually become amplified, you can run the Ion Renewal 2-piece set bonus for Force Converter, where after a final blow with any rocket or grenade launcher, you can sprint for a short time to gain speed booster. Or if you are really twitchy and love constantly swapping between weapons for the heck of it, you can actually benefit from that now with one of my favorite set bonus perks from the capture event, Iato from the Bushido set, where final blows with freshly drawn or reloaded weapons will heal you. There is a lot of fun and exciting possibilities with set bonuses, and Bungie made it clear to us that these are going to be a staple moving forward, with the intention being that every new armor set will come with a set bonus. You can learn more about the specifics of that and much more in the dev interview that I did with game director Tyson Green, which you can go and watch after this video. But before you head over there, let me tell you about the final massive build crafting rework coming to Destiny 2 in the Edge of Fate: stats. First and foremost, mobility, resilience, and recovery are gone, and the related class ability-specific cooldowns have also been wiped and transferred to the new class stat. And thanks to information provided by the devs, we were informed that moving forward, all Guardians will have base values of what is currently 30 mobility, 100 resilience, and 100 recovery, which I love because it means that we can now focus on build crafting around all of the new stats without feeling like our current power levels have been nuked too hard. Another gigantic change is that there is now no such thing as stat tiers, and subsequently no such thing as wasted stats anymore. What I mean by that is that in the current system, you would only get benefits from stats at every 10 stat points invested, such as 24% damage resistance at 80 resilience, 27% at 90, and 30% at 100. But 85 resilience, 95 resilience, those wouldn't change anything. But now, every single stat point counts, meaning that if you invest 53 points into a particular stat, you will get better, more powerful benefits out of that stat than if you had invested 52 points. Looking at the stats themselves, we now have 6 brand new stats in health, melee, grenade, super, class, and weapon. Each stat provides a specific benefit, with more stat points invested providing a better version of that benefit. But now each stat can actually go over 100 and be invested in up to 200, where any stat point over 100 will unlock a secondary effect of that stat, with more points increasing the strength of that secondary benefit. For health, any points from 1 to 100 will increase the amount of health that you receive for picking up an orb of power, and will increase your flinch resistance. That's right, we basically now have the recuperation boots mod built into our stats now, with health on orb of power pickup. If you get your stats over the 100 mark though for the health stat, you'll get faster recovery and bonus health when facing combatants, with more points over 100 increasing the strength of these benefits. For melee, any points from 1 to 100 will decrease the base cooldown of your melee ability and increase the amount of energy you receive from any source that grants melee energy, such as things like Gambler's Dodge on Hunter and armor mods like Momentum Transfer and Outreach, meaning these types of abilities and mods no longer give a flat amount of energy, but rather an amount of energy dependent on the stat that they are related to. If you get your stats over the 100 mark for the melee stat, you'll get bonus melee damage, with more points over 100 increasing the amount of bonus melee damage. For Grenade, any points from 1 to 100 will decrease the base cooldown of your grenade ability and increase the amount of grenade energy that you receive from any source that grants it, such as things like Devour Kills and armor mods like Impact Induction and Bomber. Similar to Melee, these types of buffs and mods no longer give a flat amount of energy, but rather an amount of energy dependent on the stat that they are related to. If you get your stats over the 100 mark for the grenade stat, you'll get bonus grenade damage, with more points over 100 increasing the amount of bonus grenade damage that you receive. For Super, any points from 1 to 100 will simply increase the amount of super energy you receive from any source that grants it, such as things like dealing damage to enemies and mods like Dynamo. If you get your stats over the 100 mark for the super stat, you'll get bonus super damage, with more points over 100 increasing the amount of bonus super damage that you receive. For Class, any points from 1 to 100 will decrease the base cooldown of your class ability and increase the amount of class ability energy that you receive from any source that grants it. If you get your stats over the 100 mark for the class stat, you'll get an overshield when casting your class ability, with more points over 100 increasing the strength of this overshield. Finally, for weapons, any points from 1 to 100 will increase your reload and handling and buff your weapon damage against minor and major targets. If you get your stats over the 100 mark for your weapon stat, you'll get bonus ammo from ammo brick pickups and increased damage against bosses, with more points over 100 increasing the strength of these benefits. Additionally, all armor pieces will now drop with a specific stat archetype on them, heavily influencing the spikes of your armor stat points. Every archetype has a primary prioritized stat and a less prioritized secondary stat. The 6 different armor archetypes are as follows: Bulwark, with health as the primary stat and class as the secondary; Gunner, with weapons as the primary stat and grenade as the secondary; Specialist, with class as the primary stat and weapons as the secondary; Paragon, with super as the primary stat and melee as the secondary; Brawler, with melee as the primary stat and health as the secondary; and Grenadier, with grenade as the primary stat and super as the secondary. What's really cool as well was that in the playtest build, you could also equip mods on your Ghost to increase the chance of getting armor to drop with specific stat archetypes, similar to how you can plug in specific stat prioritization mods into your Ghost today. Overall, I'm incredibly excited for all of the changes and reworks coming to Destiny 2 in the Edge of Fate, and I'm really pumped to have an actually good reason to start grinding out armor again. I've always been in love with the build crafting of this game, and that is being taken to 11 as we approach a brand new saga of Destiny 2. If you want to see more early Edge of Fate content, check out my channel or the playlist in the top right. I hope you enjoyed. Consider liking and subscribing if you did. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, have a great day.